got a great little tip in Photopea as to how to adjust the contrast while avoiding plugging in the shadows and overexposing the highlights. So how we're going to do this is we'll create a levels adjustment layer on our canvas here, and we're going to add a threshold adjustment layer above this. And now on the threshold, we're going to go into the threshold control. We're going to start with working on the shadows of the image. So I'm going to move this all the way to the left, so it's just got nothing appearing on the screen and it says 1. I'm going to go back to the levels adjustment layer. I'm going to take this point here, this black point on the histogram, which is all the way to the left. We're going to click and we're going to start slowly dragging that to the right. And once you start to see some black pixels appear on the screen, you want to stop or back off a little bit. It's okay if you got like a few, but don't take it to the point where you can start to see, you know, shapes coming out like that in the black. A few little pixels will show you that you've gone far enough. And then we go back to the threshold adjustment. We move it all the way to the right hand side, so everything now looks black. We go back to the levels and we go to the highlight point, so the opposite side here. Click and start dragging it to the left, dragging it inwards, and you'll start to see some pixels appear white if they're not already in the image. And a small amount of these is okay again, but you don't want to go to a point where you can start to see big outlines like that starting to affect the sky. So what this is telling us, this threshold's acting as a preview. So at the moment it's telling us which areas in the image would be reading as 100% white. So in other words, if we looked at the image now, so if I take the threshold off now, you're going to see the sky is very overexposed. And see how it's kind of just blocked out. The detail behind the animal in the clouds has just completely vanished because we've taken it too far. And this is what the threshold is doing. It's just allowing us to preview these changes. Maybe if our monitor's not calibrated, I've got a great monitor, it's difficult to see if we're losing detail. This will actually tell you in black and white where those areas are. So again, you want this to be quite minimal in order to have a nice balanced image. Just a few little points are okay. If you've got specular highlights on little bits of metal and, you know, in people's eyes and things like that, they're okay to be solid white. So now let's just turn this off. So if we turn the levels on and off now, you can see it's not a dramatic change, but it's a calculated contrast adjustment now. It's appropriate to the image, and we know that if we printed this, we're not going to get really filled in shadows, and we're not going to get blown out highlights that would then result in like the paper texture being visible through any areas that are supposed to be clouds or waves in the ocean and things like that.